Hello and welcome to the New Mindset Podcast. My name is Jacob,
This is Georgia.
and today we'll be discussing the question, are we able to control our negative self-talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one.
Good one. Well, you're the one that picked it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so let's start with not why did you pick it, but how was your day?
My day.
Your day.
Today?
Yes, how was your day today?
You really want to hear about my day?
I do.
Yeah.
If anyone out there has not heard it, that's the start of your monologue,
Yeah.
that drama. So,
one of my favourite monologues.
Yeah.
I do like it.
So how was your day?
Yeah, look, I could have been better.
Yeah?
Could have had a better day.
Could have been a better day.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Like, you just have good experiences and bad experiences. And to be totally honest, I cried twice today already. Happy tears and sad tears. But feeling all the feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was there for that.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, no.
I didn't cry today.
No, you didn't.
I didn't have a cry yet.
No.
Mine could come still. We don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
The night is young.
Yeah. Do you want to go any further into that, or would we just like to keep going?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, I guess it's self-explanatory, as simple as it can be. You know, I just am a very emotional person.
Yeah.
I express through tears, happy tears and sad tears.
Yeah.
So that's it.
And that's something that you're trying to work through, is expressing it through words instead of emotions, I suppose, and physical emotions, I mean.
Yeah. Like not having to, you know, I was even talking to my sister and my dad and even you at one point over the phone. And it sounded as though I was about to cry, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
But it was just the sound of my voice and the way that I was communicating something that was typically a bit tough. So yeah, I'm just trying to be able to express my feelings and my thoughts without getting overly emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose, you're just an emotional person.
Yeah.
A
I'm
highly
just
emotional person.
deeply connected to my thoughts and my
yes.
feelings.
Yes.
As us actresses are.
Actresses.
Yeah.
Yes. How was my day?
How was your day?
Yes. My day was good. It was pretty good. I got
glad.
through quite a bit. I got through a little bit. We did some wedding. We had James over, our podcast editor.
Yes.
And yeah, we got a little bit of editing done, a little bit of wedding, and yeah, some things on the side which were good.
Yeah.
And Winnie's been good, and we'll chill out and watch a movie tonight, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You need it
I need it.
after your day.
I need a chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need a bit of a chill pill.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll jump in, I suppose. How, like, what made you? Well, actually, we'll start with what is negative self-talk. Like, let's define it first.
Yeah. So no better way to define it than Google.
Goggle.
The good old Goggle. It literally just states negative self-talk is the voice inside your head that is excessively negative, and it can become an inner critic.
Can become an inner critic.
Can become if it is excessively negative. And I guess maybe I can go into it a little bit further and just say that I was introduced to this whole concept. Maybe not, you were always aware of it, but actually unpacking what it is, where she comes from, he or she. Sometimes I like to think that it's, a little part inside of me than it is me, if that makes sense. That'll probably make more sense a little bit later on.
Yep.
But Mastering Your Mean Girl by Melissa Ambrosini was the first book that was interactive, that I kind of was able to unpack what negative self-talk really was and master that mean girl.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my kind of introduction to negative self-talk.
Yeah. I remember you reading that and you thought it was awesome.
Yeah. It was like very early in my, young adulthood, as I was starting to go to university and maybe be exposed to a lot more different things and maybe more comparison and judgment. And yeah, it was the best book that my mum got me. It was a really, really awesome kind of starter to trying to be better.
Yeah. Better in what way?
Well, just understand yourself a little bit more and become a better version of yourself. She could see that I was a little bit tough on myself and I had a bit of a inner critic. So yeah, it was a really good gift. Thanks, Mum. Go, Mum.
Yeah.
On Mother's Day.
On Mother's
Woohoo.
Day.
Thanks, Mum.
And is that purely for women, do you think, that book? Or can men
Oh,
read it?
no.
Or?
Yeah, like everyone can read it. It was just from her perspective,
Yeah.
is mastering your mean girl. I guess she maybe thought that maybe it's more prevalent to women than it is to men, but I remember reading in the book, no, it's accessible to both men and women. It's just it says mean girl instead of mean boy.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And what was the author's name?
Melissa Ambrosini.
Ambrosini. Cool.
Yeah, she's Australian.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
So with that, I suppose that goes into my question of why is this worth discussing? Like why is this worth a whole podcast?
Yeah, I feel like honestly, part of it was the fact that you were sharing a lot about your anxiety, your experiences, your troubles, your triumphs as well. And I was like, look, maybe I could share a little bit more truthfully about some of the things that I've been kind of working through.
Yep.
Yeah, and the negative inner critic is definitely one of the things at the top. And I think as well, maybe putting it out there to be like, everyone has one. And maybe I'm trying to, I don't know, find my people that are also very not, I don't know, very critical and making them feel as though,
Very
hey,
self-critical.
yeah, yes, no, good to pinpoint that.
Yes.
It's in our self-critical talk. And just say you're not alone.
So bring some awareness to the problem of being self-critical.
Yeah.
Well, I know this isn't on the run sheet.
Yeah.
But
Jacob likes to be prepared.
Oh yes, I am very prepared. Well, is there a benefit to being self-critical? Like you're speaking about it quite negatively at the moment, but do you think? I know this is an off-the-cuff question.
Yeah.
But what do you think? There's any space for it in our lives?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's good to have some kind of boundary. I wish I could regurgitate what I was reading in my book this morning. It was literally the comparison between self-compassion and self-doubt. And the doubt being the critical side of us. And there is part to be able to say, look, we can achieve more, we can do more, you can push yourself a little bit more. But I think, like the definition suggests, when it becomes excessively negative, that's when it's an issue. When all you have in your inner thoughts is, I should be better. Why can't I be doing better? You should be helping out more. So many people expect more of you. When it's that kind of excessive negativity, that's when it's a problem. And that's where it impacts the person on the outside as much as the inside. You can see the impact of that negative critic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the word excessive.
Yeah. Just too much negative criticism on yourself, from yourself.
Yeah, I don't know if you wanted to delve into it anymore, but I suppose that's something that you really struggle with.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. It's
Being self-critical, that is.
mm,
I've noticed that in you. So, and that's something that you're working through, and it's something that shows up in like all forms of your life, from what I can tell through when we have these conversations. Like at university, you were self-critical. If you got, our grading system is from, what is it, 3 to 7? Well,
1 to 7.
1 to 7.
But 1 to 3 is a fail.
Yeah, so 4 to 7, let's say.
Yeah.
If you got a 5 or 6, you were still very self-critical. And
Yeah.
to some degree, that's high expectations and high achiever. But like you said before, excessive. That's when it becomes an issue. So I suppose there is a place for being self-critical because you're holding yourself to higher standards or the standards that you believe that you need to set. But the word excessive is the issue. So where do you find that your most excessive self-critical thoughts come into play at the moment?
Yeah, when the way that I appear externally doesn't match the version of myself that's probably behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Which to make that picture a little bit clearer, it's, oh, she's working so hard, she's doing really well, she's eating really well, she's walking her dog every day, she's kicking her goals. She's looking, like she's really on to something in terms of working hard, studying hard, got a good relationship, all this kind of stuff. It's that kind of, I guess, lots of positive reinforcement in that sense. And when I feel as though that I don't live up to those things because I'm watching a movie instead of working or studying, or I opt for the more unhealthy version of a dinner one night. It's those types of not living up to the expectations that I've been praised for is that inner critic comes in.
Okay. So what I take from that is that last little bit of what you've been praised for.
Yeah.
So it's the measures that other people hold you accountable to that you're not meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I don't do that, that's when the critic comes in and is like,
that your critic comes in though.
Yeah. Yeah. My little,
Your little voice.
My little voice.
And what was the most recent example of that? If we wanted to make it a little more personable and bring awareness to your specific self-critic.
Literally, okay, a lot can be around food sometimes. And my sister just came before and they said, "Oh, what are you having for dinner?" And I felt guilty for saying we ordered a Domino's pizza.
Guilty or critical?
Probably critical.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to critique myself for ordering food that was not, everything free, refined sugar free, gluten free, dairy free. I mean, give myself a little bit of credit and give you a bit of credit too. We were vegan, we were dairy free and a gluten free base, but it wasn't the healthiest option on the menu. So I said, "Oh yes, I had a, some kind of deluxe pizza capers option for food, instead of just having a Impossible range on the Domino's menu," which is, there's nothing wrong with either. But I instantly felt, oh, my little critic is going to be so mad at me if I had gone for the not as healthy version.
Now, for you to be able to tell a little white lie to, your mum and sister, was that because of shame? Do you think?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, like shame in your decision making. And then your self-critic sort of jumps on the back of that. And then now you're pushing negative emotion. Yeah. That's how I sort of see it from my point of view.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next question would be, with this topic, are women more likely to experience negative self-talk?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In your experience, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think that women are more prone to oh, well, now I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, women talk about it more.
Yep.
Men may still experience that kind of critic, but in a different way, and they keep it internal.
Yep. Well, I think I would add that it's an interesting stat. It's a little sad, but it's interesting. So women are more likely to attempt suicide, but men are more likely to commit suicide, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I would say, and the research sort of shows that women are more geared to negative belief and men aren't. But the twist is that men are more likely to follow through and commit to the actual act. They're a little more harsh.
Yeah.
And so, and from my perspective, obviously I can only empathize with you.
Yeah.
And women. But with women, the negative self-talk, I feel like a blatantly obvious one for me is like the menstrual cycle period every month or every 2 or 3 months, like whatever it is for you. But that seems to come with a lot of with a lot of negativity and a lot of discomfort. So of course, women would be more geared toward that. And then obviously have social factors and things like that. But if we were speaking physically only, then obviously, like, with that bearing over you for every month, typically, for what is it, a week at a time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It varies from woman to woman, but yeah, I guess your hormones are fluctuating constantly.
Yeah.
You're in a constant flux of your hormones for every single month. And there's 4 stages of the cycle, and each of them have a different impact. You have a different energy level, and if yours isn't regular and it's not normal, like mine isn't, it's so much more difficult to track. So sometimes these kind of critical thoughts can come out randomly, whereas if it was a cycle that you could track, it's like, oh, okay, so this week I'm going to be a lot more critical on myself, so I need to be a lot more compassionate. If it's not regular, then you kind of don't know what to expect.
Going with the flow, to speak.
Thank you so much for that. You had to. There was an opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for taking it.
Thank you so much. No, yeah, okay, because I don't even know if I can really empathize. I can sympathize.
Yeah.
Like it's tough. How can any guy empathize? I suppose that's the whole argument around just being a good guy, just being able to understand that, hey, my partner or my friend that's, a girl is just struggling. And yeah, I've just got to be there. I don't know what you're going through, but I've got to be there. And that's where your sort of negative self-talk can maybe increase, I could say, around, and even prior to the cycle or even afterward, potentially. And then, so that's 10 days out of your month gone, and then you've got another 20 odd. Yeah, and then obviously, like you said, with your food habits and that's the thing. Everyone feels bad after eating the not greatest food.
But there's no such thing as bad food. It's just food that may not be. Oh no. Oh.
Now we're opening up there.
There we go. Another conversation. But like, slapping a word like bad on something. Like, sure, there's things that are unhealthy or healthy, but
not ideal. Not ideal food, but like we said earlier with the self-critic, excessive, everything in moderation. So, like we had, we had, like you mentioned before, the not the greatest meal in the world, but not the worst meal in the world, but you had a tough day and you felt as though you needed it, and you earned it because you pushed through a tough day. But and push through, I don't actually like the phrase push through, but you were able to manage your emotions and still get the things done that you would have liked to get done.
Yeah.
So that was your reward.
Yeah.
Building that relationship.
But then even then again, I didn't get through all the things I wanted to get through. Like literally, as you said that, my little critic was like, but you've still got like 5 things on your list that you got to do, Georgia.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's my personal experience with my little critic.
Okay. Well, that sort of goes on to my next sort of point. What are a few things that someone can implement to manage that self-critic?
To manage it?
Yeah. Like what's something that you've tried and failed at? What's something that you're trying now? What's something that's worked? Even something in that book that you mentioned earlier, The Mastering Your Mean Girl.
Yeah.
Like what are a few pointers that someone can implement?
Well, one that Melissa speaks of that is actually really encouraging, because a lot of my inner critic comes from a place of, I need to be a better version of myself for these different people. And you being one of them, my sister being another. I need to be the perfect daughter, be the perfect manager, but also the perfect employee, and need to be really great in all of these different relationships they have, both romantic, family, personal, professional. They're all coming from a place of, I need to be that good version for someone else, but I can't do that if I'm not full within myself. So one of the things she talks about is you do need to, as classic and cliche as it sounds, is fill your own cup first. And that's what you tell me to do a lot of. Like that's been probably the thing that you've told me the most to do in recent times. And what I assume that you'll probably tell me throughout our marriage as well, is to just find ways to fill your own cup first so you can give more to other people, and not come from some empty little cup that your inner critic has just scoured everything out of, every resource out of, because your inner critic makes you feel so empty.
Yeah, I suppose that you're finding ways to, like you said, fill that cup, which is awesome. Like tomorrow, you were looking at doing a few like self-care things for yourself, potentially doing your nails and a massage potentially and just having the day to recharge because you need it. And obviously a lot of people out there need it too. But how, like I think we all know how we can sort of recharge. Like we all know, similar to we all know how to exercise. We all know how to eat good.
Yeah.
But how can we maintain that cup so it doesn't go from 100 at the start of the day to 20 at the end of the day?
Well, like I'll tell you when I know.
Well,
Like that's the thing that I'm working on as well.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm probably in the trenches trying to learn about how to be resourceful, you know, both with time and money and literal resources and how to fill a cup. So, you know, this morning just sitting in next to the rain reading my book was like more than enough for me to fill up my morning. But then as soon as a nitty-gritty came, it was like that book was for nothing, you know, because I immediately thought, oh, geez, I shouldn't have read that book for that long. What was the point of doing that? I wasted all that time. I should have been doing something else. So the saying of like shooting all over yourself, just be appreciative of where you're at now and enjoy taking that time. So that's probably one of the things that I would say is, you know, when you are choosing how to fill your cup, just be really intentional that right there is the time that you've selected to set aside you time. And that's it. Don't think about anything else. If your mind wanders, bring it back to here. What you're doing right now is filling your cup so that you can be of the best service to other people. But you can only do that when you're full within yourself.
Yeah.
I need to tell myself that every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it
Well,
make
it's
sense?
hard. Yeah. I can empathize and relate to that with anxiety. With anxiety, I want to be in the now, but my anxiety wants to worry about 10 minutes from now, 1 hour from now, next month, next year, even. So it's really tough to focus on the now and be in the now. And people say, you know, you've got to meditate, and if that works for you, awesome.
Be in the now.
Be in the now. But yeah, I struggle to meditate because the anxiety is so high that I can't meditate.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I just have to find what works for me. So I'm glad that you're trialing. You know, you'll trial things, you'll fail at things, and you'll find that something that you'll fail at now will work in 2 years.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's definitely interesting. Do you think those thoughts don't have to be, because oftentimes someone with depression feels those thoughts that you're describing. Doesn't mean that you have depression, does it? No, I don't think.
No, well, I don't have any kind of diagnosed, you know, anxiety, depression, anything like that. And depression would probably be the most closely linked to negative self-talk.
Yeah.
But I don't think that anyone has to have any kind of diagnosed mental struggle or illness or disorder to be able to experience those types of feelings.
Yeah, exactly. I just didn't want anyone out there thinking, oh, I feel those, so does that mean depression? But I feel as though it's a normal emotion.
Well, that's just a human experience, is feeling as though that you should be somewhere that you're not, and you're critical about yourself about it.
Now, we haven't touched on it yet, and I know we haven't written it down either, so this might be another curveball at you.
Bring on tears number 4.
Tears number 4.
Yes.
But social media, where does that come into play in this?
Yeah, so
like so
much.
So I'll just say quickly.
Yeah.
And it's nothing, you know, I'm not praising myself at all, but I've been off social media for 2 or 3 years now.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I've just jumped back on it though, obviously because of new mindset. And yeah, I'm quickly finding that it's like, oh, my mate just got a new car. My friend just bought a new house. My friend invested in this stock, or this person just got a new dog. And I look at my own life sort of, and it's like, oh, it's like I have those things, but I would like that thing.
Yeah.
So as a woman, a girl, how does that sort of play a part?
It's tough. Yeah, you can it's the whole comparison, comparisonitis, you know, some people like to call it.
Is that a word?
Yeah, it totally is. Look it up. In Urban Dictionary or something, like not the real Oxford thing, but yeah, comparing yourself to others is 100% where a lot of that negative self-talk can come from for young women.
Yep.
In terms of just generally young people, it can be definitely in terms of success. thinking that you should be further along than what you are because everything has been fast forwarded with the use of social media and influencers and that kind of creating your own business and being your own entrepreneur at such a young age. You know, it feels as though if you hit 25, you're old because you haven't got your own business, you haven't traveled to 5 different countries and, you know, everything by the time that you're 25, you just think, holy smokes, how's that possible? So, yeah, and I guess as a woman, there's there's a massive complex situation relating to positivity and negativity around the self-talk in terms of our physical appearance, you know, and your bodies. You want to be the most healthy, fit version of yourself, but you don't want to be too slim, but you don't want to be too big, but you don't want to
Yes. Yeah.
but you know, body positivity, we love everyone in every shape and size, but not every single clothing brand is going to stock every single size. And, you know, you've got your mid-size, but you can be too slim for your mid-size and too big for mid-size. So there's all of these different labels that are going out. And I think if you don't fit into a label, that's where that kind of negative self-talk can come into. Because like these are the labels that are being accepted, but I don't see my label out there, or I don't fit into any one.
Yeah.
And then the last one that comes in is, you know, what's the point of any of these labels? Why don't we just accept everyone for how we are and who we are?
Yeah.
You know, wouldn't that just get rid of all the negative self-talk of being like, why can't we just simply exist in any way, shape, or form that we present?
Must be tiring.
So negative self-talk as a woman,
Yeah.
there,
I said, yeah, like
strong.
I'd love to know where all of these, and we're not going to find it out now, but it would take a few episodes.
Yeah.
But like that, what we're just discussing there with women and body image, that could be an episode on its own quite easily. And it probably needs to be.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it could be, you know, you can talk about all of these different topics in their own way.
Yeah.
You know, this is really just scratching the surface of bringing.
Yeah, like when you walk out, just quickly, when you walk out from home, and if I put myself in your shoes, I walk out of home, I check my phone on social media, I see this really, you know, a supermodel essentially in the clothes that I want to buy. So it's, but then your self-critic is sort of thinking, I don't look like her, I shouldn't wear those clothes.
100%.
Okay, so that's one instance.
Yeah.
The next instance is, I'm going to watch the news. That ad that just came up, that girl is eating really healthy. I don't eat like her. I mustn't look like her.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to go for a walk. What's on that bus? That's a really healthy, nice looking, fit girl that society wants me to look like. I don't look like her. Am I not society's girl, type of girl? Okay.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Yeah.
And you could pick up, you know, you could go all the way to the supermarket. You see it on branding. You see it on clothes. You see it on bus benches. You see it on, like, we're going to go to Japan later in the year. We're going to go through that Shinjuku city, and there's just huge clothing labels of, you know, nice looking men and nice looking women on these ads, and just like it must be terrible for, like, I don't know. As a guy, I don't typically feel it because it's just not wired to us. It hasn't been marketed to us. But as a girl, yeah, it just would be absolutely exhausting.
Yeah. Thank you for empathizing.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It can be really exhausting.
I think that's going to be a really good episode, actually. I'd love to do an episode on that, get your thoughts and get a few research methods and see and not just talk about it, but also give a few tips on how to, like how, and if men feel it as well, potentially I don't.
Yeah.
But 100% men would be out there feeling it. Like you'd look at like a Bonds commercial, for instance, and there's this guy there with like an bloody 8-pack, and it's like, I don't have that.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't wear those. Wear those. But yeah, like, yeah, it's such a just massive, and we're looking
just
at
a roller coaster.
we're looking at society there. We're looking at marketing. We're looking at businesses mixed in with our psychological health, which is very complicated.
Yeah.
Very complicated.
Yeah. I guess, you know, you said what are some kind of, you know, managements out there for negative self-talk, and, you know, we tapped into social media.
Yep.
And I guess the reason that I don't have a clear-cut answer is because I'm in the thick of it.
you're in that process right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to discover what it is that works for me to manage my self-talk. And I think meeting it with self-compassion, kind of similar to what you said before about, a few episodes ago about, building a relationship with anxiety. I think it's building that relationship with that little inner critic and seeing, okay, what do they need? What does she need right now? What is she calling out for? Give her a little pat on the head and say, okay, I hear you. I can see you there, but, I'm not going to give in to this today. I'm not going to let you control these thoughts today. You can sit there and you can have them. You can have a little tanty, but I'm going to continue on with my day. I think. At least that's what maybe I want to start approaching my negative self-talk like.
That sounds as though building that. And I love, just building a relationship maybe with that self-critic.
Yeah.
And saying, okay, you've got a point in this area. Maybe I should have eaten better today because I ate crappy yesterday. So look, I'll give you that one. You're right. But tomorrow let's work together to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
So instead of pushing it away and disliking it and arguing against it, let's maybe give it a hug.
Yeah, give her a hug. Or open up the door. If she's knocking at the door trying to get in, open up the door. Greet her.
Give her a handshake. What are you here
for? Give her a little handshake, high five, hug, whatever you want to do, and then just close the door. I'm going to acknowledge that you're there, but I'm not going to accept you into the house that is my brain and my body.
I think, your brain has the best intentions for you.
Yeah.
You're your psyche. It's got the best intentions for you, but similar to anxiety sometimes, and it's that word excessive. I think that's the biggest thing I've gotten out of this podcast, this episode here. The word excessive is when it becomes an issue. So if your self-critic comes up every now and then, cool, well, you've got a good relationship, I'd say.
Yeah, you've got awareness that there is a part of you that wants to try and improve or help you become better.
Yeah.
For sure. That's healthy. But yeah, when it gets excessive, that's when it's too much.
Yeah. And from what I can gather, you're still working on it as a lot of other people are, but you've acknowledged it and you're going to try a few methods that maybe we can share on the podcast in a few weeks.
Day. Yeah.
Yeah, a few months, however long it takes. Yeah. But you just wanted people to know that, you feel it.
Yeah.
And so does the majority of people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a normal human experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. That we're all trying to manage and work through at these different stages of our lives.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to sort of finish? It was sort of a whereabout episode, that one. It sort of went from
here, there, and
A
everywhere.
to B to C to D to E to back to A to B to C.
Yeah.
But I think it's just one of those topics that are very, a negative self-talk. The label is just, crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to potentially breaking it down a little further in different aspects later down the track.
Yeah.
And you're getting your thoughts through trial and error.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best way.
Do you have anything further to add on that topic?
Only I would just recommend that book. If anyone's really at the start of their journey or they don't really have as big of a conversation just yet with their mean girl. I'm starting to have more of one as I kind of work through my inner dialogue and inner conversations with my therapist. But if you're just at the start, maybe you don't have a therapist or you don't have someone that you want to kind of confide in, or even if you do, I would highly recommend this book, Mastering Your Mean Girl by Melissa Ambrosini, because it was a really great introduction to this whole type of world and gives you different prompts, journaling, as well as just questions to ask yourself to just understand yourself even better, because you're only going to live with yourself once. You only have this one experience with this one body, this one person. You want to understand them the best you can.
Yes. Very good.
Yeah, that would be my last little parting bit.
Yeah. And is that a fairly new book? Just off the top of your head?
No. I had it when I was...
that would have been about 5 or 6 years
18?
ago.
18? Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, I could even have a read of it.
Yeah, you could. Master that mean boy.
Master that mean boy. Cool. I'll jump onto my checkout question then if you have nothing else.
Oh, yes.
Cool. So, all right, this is a tough one.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Well, not really. It's a fun one. If you could go back in time for a 10-minute period, where would you go? And you have the chance of being captured or dying there or being hurt or like whatever. So you've got to be careful with what you pick.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
tell you mine first.
Yeah, go.
I picked like the dinosaur era.
Mhm.
I'd love to go back and sort of see that just for 10 minutes. And I'll probably just hide under a rock. But just to be able to see it and experience it, that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, right.
What are you feeling off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, I reckon I would have loved to have been in Shakespeare's era. I would have loved to have seen his performances at the Globe Theatre. I know though that during his time he had a lot of because of the types of, I don't know, laws or normalities back then, lots of men portrayed the women. So I don't know how many women would be able to actually act in his pieces. But if I was lucky enough to be a female actress, I would have loved to have actually been in one of Shakespeare's plays.
For 10 minutes.
For 10 minutes.
You got 10 minutes to get there. You got 10 minutes to get a role.
Know Lady Macbeth's soliloquy. So I just maybe kill her and then come out and take a role.
Okay.
Ta-da.
On that note. No, cool. Anything else to add to that? No, that's it.
No, I actually wouldn't kill Lady Macbeth if I went back in time. I'd just capture her for 9 minutes. That's what I would have done.
I wish we had that on. We didn't record this podcast visually, but we will next week and going forward. And that would have been hilarious to see your face right there because you scrunched up and was like, "Let me have my 2 cents." Cool. Well, awesome. I really enjoyed that, and yeah, we'll uncover a few more of those topics in future.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing else to add?
No, that's it. Thank you for holding a safe space for me to share.
Thank you very much for sharing.
Yes.
Yes. But awesome. So thanks so much, everyone, for listening in. I appreciate it, and I know Georgia does too. And we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.